Hey everybody, it's me Stacy here at Scrapbooking Made Simple, and it's time for Saturday with Stacy, YouTube number 255. Before you decide to turn this YouTube off because you don't think it's for you, because you think it's only for people who have a Go Press and Foil machine, wait, stop! I promise you, if you've got a die cutting machine like a Big Shot or a Big Kick or a Vagabond or a Plus or a Pro or a Spellbinders Platinum or a Cuttlebug, this YouTube is for you as well. I have got things to show you and things to teach that I hope will make your heart happy. Truly, I do. The new cut and foil plates from Couture Creations are beautiful. It's called Lavish Ballroom, and this is the second release from Couture Creations on cut and foil plates. Guess who had the exclusive on the first release? Guess who's got the exclusive on the second release? I'm doing my Blake Shelton from The Voice. I love The Voice. I do. I also like dance. So You Think You Can Dance, and with the World Dancing Champions, and I mean, I watch all of it. Anything that has to do with the arts and the dancing and singing, oh, it makes my heart happy. So we've got the exclusive on Lavish Ballroom from Couture Creations, but it's not just for your Go Press and Foil, and that I'm going to show you. We're going to start simple, and we're going to work a little harder as we go along. And so I would recommend that you get a piece of paper and a pencil and you take notes if you think this is something you're going to want to do. And if you don't want to take notes and you do place an order, in the notes section of the order, there's a place for you to write a little note. Type YouTube number 255, and that way you always can refer back to it, because on your packing slip, when we ship you your order, on your packing slip it will show whatever you typed, YouTube number 255, so you know where to go and look for how to use this fabulous product again and again and again. YouTube number 211 is also an important YouTube. It is using the Go Press and Foil on techniques that are very kind of similar to what I'm doing today, but I did some more things in that. It's a little more advanced in the, if you have brass stencils, you're really going to want to watch that one. So this and YouTube number 211 are something you might want to go back and refresh on. The SMS girls have asked me to talk about the difference between a Simply Refined metal shim and a Couture Creations conversion plate, and I'm going to do that as well today, so you see why they're different, how you use them, and what the results are from using them, because the Simply Refined metal shim is not like the Couture Creations conversion plate, and the conversion plate is not like my metal shim. Now, my metal shim is not made for dies. It was made exclusively to go with a Go Press and Foil machine to do specifically what I wanted it to do in YouTube number 211. But I'm going to do some of that in this today. We have the shop that did not hop. One is just ending and one is just beginning. July 13th through, it's Friday, July 13th, Friday the 13th. Oh, what was I thinking? Last year on the opening day of the shop that did not hop, my house burned down. I was supposed to be the Wicked Witch of the West, which if you think about it, it's a little apropos. This year I am the Queen of Hearts, which is off with their heads. So I'm hoping, that we don't have a repeat of last year. So the Shop That Didn't Hop event, it starts on the 13th of July through the 27th, 9 a.m. sunny California time, and we are finishing up the 2017 Shop That Didn't Hop. So about 98% of you have your orders. There's just less than 100 orders left to ship, but they've all been picked, packed, and pulled. So now it's just getting them on out to you. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. Let me find my winner, winner, chicken dinner, people. Because that was last week, and we did Simply Define Through the Year, which had the sentiment dies, and it had the plaid foil plates and the plaid 5x7 stamp set and the holly stamp set and the music note stamp set, 5x7 stamps for $9.99, Simply Defined. So that price is the best price I can do, and we'll have them until we sell out. But we had, oh wonderful, we had new must-haves, and that's what they're going to win. These people are going to win the new must-haves, the scallop circle to go with your straight edge circle from last year, and they are going to win one of the stamps. Congratulations. Oh, Polly. Hello, Polly. I feel like we're best friends and we've never met. We're BFFs, but I know you. I know you from all your comments through YouTube. So I know who Polly White is. It Wieneman? Wieneman. Weinman? Wieneman. Oh, Polly. I don't know how to pronounce it. So when you send your email saying that you are our winner chicken dinner, do it phonetically. Say, tell Stacy it's pronounced like this and spell it phonetically. So Polly, because I want to say two vowels go a walk and the first one does the talking, and you have the E and the I together, which would mean that the E is a hard E. Wieneman. I'm going with it, Polly. Congratulations to you, though. Wahoo kachoo. The other winner is Has Car. Has Car. If that's you, congratulations. Both of you are winner chicken dinners. So you need to be doing, I'm a winner, chicken dinner. I'm a winner, chicken dinner. You need to be doing your happy dance with the snapping and rewind me to see if you actually won, because you'll watch it again and again and again, and that's okay. You'll probably get somebody else to watch it with you to say, see, looky, I finally won. Congratulations to both of you. Don't forget to claim your prize. Go to scrapbookingmadesimple.com. Find the link that says winner chicken dinner. Click it, follow the directions, and we'll get your prizes right off to you. Now for today is all about couture creations. It really is, and their cut and foil plates and how versatile they are, even if you don't have a Go Press and Foil machine. I will tell you, if you like the Go Press and Foil machine, if you like what you see, I need to ask you to take an hour of your time when you get it and just play. Have no expectation at all. The Go Press and Foil machine, my machine is the same as the machine you're going to be getting. But my die cutting machine is not the same. I have a Big Shot machine, and my Big Shot machine gets used a lot. So it's a little bit looser than perhaps your Big Shot machine, which maybe you cut 10 times a week on. Mine gets 100 cuts or more easily a week without any question about it. Or maybe you have a Cuttlebug machine, which is different than a Big Shot machine. They both cut dies, but the rollers are in different places and there's different amounts of pressure. You will love owning a Go Press and Foil machine. I tell you, you will. But not if you don't take the time to learn how to use it and how it works with your die cutting machine. You have to give it the opportunity to teach you how many shims you need. Do you need one shim, a paper shim? Do you need 2 pieces of paper? Do you need 3 pieces of paper? So if you take an hour and just play with it, there will come a moment where you've got it right and you pull that foil back and you look at it and it's like, ah! I mean, the skies have opened, the sun is shining down, there's a rainbow, because it is perfect. It is exactly what you were hoping for. But if you think you're going to take this machine right out of the box and be able to make a perfect impression from the get-go, chances are you're going to need to work with it just a little bit, about an hour's worth, and just with yucky paper. And the machine, the Go Press and Foil, they give you 2 rolls of foil so that you have foil to play with. And they give you a special pair of tweezers that I'll show you. And they give you a silicone mat so you don't accidentally lay something hot down on your 100-year-old beautiful antique wood table and burn it. What they don't give you is a plate to play with. There's no free plate. So we give you a free plate, a random free plate that we choose and send it along so that you have something to start with. But I don't want you to be disappointed in this machine. And you know me by now. You know I don't tout machines. I mean, that's not what I do. But it is a good machine and it does do what it says it's going to do. You just have to give it that opportunity to work with your die cutting machine, because it's your machine, that's the variable. But we're going to start, and we're going to start easy, and we're going to start. Should you pause? Did you pause? Did I pause my face? Note time if you want to go grab some notes. There's my pause face. If you don't want to take notes in your order, under the notes section in your order, you can write YouTube number 255, and I would write YouTube number 211 as well, because you're going to want to go back and watch that YouTube as well. Okay, so we're going to start pretty simple, and we're going to start with just die cutting and just with white paper and some simple inks. That's all we're going to do. So This is achievable by all of you out there if you've got some form of a die cutting machine. I'm going to tilt on down. We're going to get started for today, and it's good to see you. Down, down, down. Now I have to tilt in, in. A little crooked. Let's see if I can uncrooked me. Oh, let's see. How's that? And a little bit in more. A little bit to the side. I know we're very high tech here. Ta-da! Okay, so the make and take for today. Downstairs, this is what everybody's working on. And yes, that is a beautiful, beautiful cut and foil plate. And we foiled it and we inked. So if you're anywhere in Southern California on a Saturday, come visit me. I'm down there. I do the make and take. I sit out there with everybody, and you really do make this. We don't do it for you. I know how to make this. You need to learn how to do this. So you do the foiling, you do the die cutting, you do the inking. Yes. And we always try to have at least 2 options. That way, if you're more of a warm tone person, you could have done this one. So that's Saturday, and we prep for up to 100 ladies and guys. Guys are welcome. Come on down. Really pretty. So that's what's going on downstairs right now in our free make and take. But I'm going to start with her. This is a cut and foil plate, and she's lovely. She's got cut edges on her like a wafer die, but she's also got foiling elements like a foil stamp has. It's the best of both worlds. You're going to be able to run it through your machine if you're foiling on a one pass. Now, we're going to be doing something a little different with her. We're going to start with just some basic white paper. And again, she's got, you can see that there's no cut lines here, but around her head and in her arm, you've got cut lines, and you can feel them because they're not sharp, but you can feel that they're raised up higher. So I'm going to take her and I'm going to just cut her out of white paper. I'm going to bring over my Big Shot machine. I have got my multi-purpose platform. If you're buying a new Big Shot machine, it's going to come with the extended multi-purpose platform. The smaller one is sold separately. Do you need it? No. Is it nice to have? Yes. Can you do everything that I'm going to be doing with the larger multi-purpose platform? Absolutely. So if it comes down to being budget-minded, I would rather see you pass up getting the smaller multi-purpose platform, because I think it sells for like $29.99 or $24.99. And I'd rather see you get some actual plates to do something with, because your extended multi-purpose platform will work just fine without any problem. It will. Now I'm going to cut her. I'm just going to cut her the way she is. So I have got my do not cut plate. Why do I use a do not cut plate? Because I like my plate to be as flat as possible on the bottom, which means I never try to cut into it. Does it happen? Sure, you can see that I've got some dents in there. Absolutely, but you can also see that it's pretty flat and not warped. Keeping a do not cut plate on the bottom allows the machine, your platform, to go through really smooth. These plates are eventually going to warp. Here's my cut plate, and you can see that it's starting to warp. That's what they're supposed to do. But the more it warps, the harder it is to get it under there if that's your bottom plate. So I always start with my do not cut plate on my bottom. I also want to keep my multi-purpose platform completely closed. I don't want any of these tabs open. None of the tabs open. I'm using something similar to a wafer die. It's a little bit thicker, but it's going to work on your multi-purpose platform completely closed. So I've got my multi-purpose platform completely closed, my do not cut plate, my cut and foil die from Couture Creations from the Lavish Ballroom collection, my white paper, and my cut plate, and I'm going to send it on through. Send it on through. Now, do I have to bring it back? Because it's a little bit thicker than a standard wafer die, I really don't have to bring it back. It will cut through just fine on a one run. And what I want you to see is that it cut out beautifully, but hopefully the camera picks it up and you can see that it also debossed. Where those lines are, it left a beautiful debossing. So if you wanted to take this, you've got that beautiful instant deboss. And you could add some pearls to it and have the most beautiful dress in white. Just gorgeous. But let's see what it looks like if I do it in black. Again, just paper. We haven't done anything but paper yet. Pop my little pieces out, grab a piece of black paper, and I am using my 100-pound cardstock, both black and white, my simply defined 100-pound cardstock. Sizzix multi-purpose platform, whether it be the small one or the large one. Do not cut plate, and I recommend making your do not cut plate either a glittered cut plate, this is my ruby red glitter cut plates exclusive to us, or one of the Sizzix colored plates, because then it's easier for you to remember and to find the do not cut plate. The clear ones are the ones I'd cut into. I would use something that is different as my do not cut plate. That way you don't have to write on it. We used to write on it, do not cut. And put her face up. Paper over the top so the ridges, I can feel the ridges. Smooth side is against my do not cut. Paper and send her on through. And again, because she's a little, you hear those creaks and cracks, it's okay. Little creaks and cracks are fine. It's not gonna hurt anything, and that's what the machine, that's the sound the machine makes. You can, there we go. Turning on my Go Press and Foil machine. Let's move this out of the way for just a second. And let's see what we've got. So again, just out of black paper. But here I think it's a little easier for you to see that beautiful embossing. I did not ink her up at all. I didn't put anything on her. I didn't use Versamark, nothing. I just used my black paper, and you can see the relief that it got when it debossed, when it put those lines in there. And the reason why I'm saying it debossed is because it pushed them down and not up. Up would be an emboss, down is a deboss. But look at how gorgeous is that. And it did the same thing on the white one, just might be a little harder for you to see in the camera with the white, but the black is beautiful. Now, if that's all you wanted to do, you could add some bling to both of them. You could shadow. Have a little shadow on her. You have options because she's die cut. And I haven't used a Go Press and Foil yet. I'm going to put those to the side. Now we're going to get a little tricky. And we're going to zhuzh it up just a little bit. How are we going to do that? I'm going to take some ink. This is a Memento. You can use Memento inks. You can use the Color Philosophy inks that we had on a flash sale. You can use Tim Holtz inks. You can use Stampin' Up inks. What you can't use is alcohol ink. Alcohol ink would dry on this and you would have to rub it off. It dries too fast. You need a dye-based ink. That's what I'm starting with, a dye-based ink. And I'm just going to ink her up. Ink, 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 ink. And I'm going to ink all over her. The whole die, the edges and everything. Then I'm going to bring my Big Shot machine back on over. And I'm going to put her right down on it. I'm going to make sure that where my finger touched. Oh, I hope I didn't do too much. Put my paper down. And send it on through. Let's see what I have. Pop her on out. And I've now colored her with that beautiful purple ink. Easy to do, simple. And then it's up to me with what I want to do with it after that. Do I want to add some lighter purple around her or some pink around her to color her dress even more? Do I want to just leave her white just like this? You can. It's really entirely up to you. I could take my lighter purple. I've got my color philosophy here from Prima. I could take a lighter color purple with my finger dauber. Oh, purple, found you. Lighter color purple in my finger dauber. And maybe just edge her a little bit. Edge her dress a little. It's really up to you what you want to do with her, because all we're using is ink and paper and our cut and foil. So it's kind of deceiving. It is a cut and foil die, but it's so much more than that. Gosh, do I just want to do the whole thing? And because it was a dye-based ink that I used, that first purple, that Memento, it absorbed right into the paper, and so I've got no smearing. But now I've just zhuzhed her up just a little bit. Isn't she so pretty? So you can leave it white. Do I have one that's just white? By George, I do. You can leave her just in a white, or you can zhuzh her up a little bit. It's up to you. Because all we're using is white paper so far. But what do we do about black paper? You saw that she looks beautiful on black paper. She really does. But what if we wanted to do more than that? Well, that's where a different type of ink comes in. Your color philosophy and your Memento, those are dye-based inks. And your Tim Holtz Distress ink is a dye-based ink, and your Stampin' Stampin' Up ink is a dye-based ink. I think your Lawn Fawn is a dye-based ink. And a dye-based ink, it is meant to absorb into paper. So if I were to take this and put it on black paper, where's the color? That purple that was so beautiful on that white is now gone because it's being absorbed into the black paper. We need something that's going to stand on top of the black paper so that it doesn't absorb and that color lays on top so you can still see that color. I mean, even if I used, here's the color philosophy, even if I use the color philosophy, you still can't see the ink because it's a dye-based ink. If I were to get a pigment-based ink, a pigment-based ink sits on top. Takes a little longer to dry, but it sits on top, allowing you to stamp on dark colors. A pigment-based ink is something that you would use also if you were doing a heat embossing. So let's talk about the CDPs of ink real quick, just so you know. There's the ABCs. We all know our ABCs, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. If you think of ink like your ABCs, you'll have an easier time remembering what you can and cannot use with what kind of paper, or if you're out shopping, what you should be buying. So ABC, C. C is a chalk-based ink. If you're out there shopping and you see Color Box and they have chalk on the word, on the label, you know that C is right up front in the alphabet. And that means it's going to dry super quick. It's early in the alphabet, super quick. Chalk-based inks always dry the fastest, which means you have very little opportunity to do anything with them, but maybe, you can blend with them, or if you stamp with them, you got to be kind of quick with it. Otherwise, they dry too fast. Then you have dye-based ink, and C and D are right next to each other in the alphabet. C, D, nothing in between. That means a dye-based ink dries almost as fast as a chalk-based ink, but not quite as fast. A dye-based ink, it gives you a little bit more time. It takes a little bit longer to dry, but not much because they're right next to each other in the alphabet, C and D. So you have your chalk for C, your D for dye. Then we get to pigment. And pigment starts with a P, and that's way down the alphabet. You've got D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O before you get to P. That's a long way from D. That means a pigment-based ink takes a long time to dry, or a lot longer than a dye-based ink. It also means that it sits on top and doesn't absorb in. Most of your metallic inks on the market are a pigment-based ink, and they sit on top. What's nice about a pigment-based ink is that you can stamp with it, throw clear embossing powder on it, heat it, and it will be beautiful. You cannot do that with a dye-based ink or a chalk-based ink. It does not stay wet long enough for that embossing powder to adhere and for you to heat it. You need a pigment-based ink. So when you're out shopping, you need to use the right ink for what you're doing. I couldn't grab this dye-based ink, ink up my girl, put her on black paper and expect to see anything but black paper, because dye-based, it absorbs in, it dries pretty quick, doesn't sit on top. I need to use something that is going to take a little bit longer to dry, that will sit on top, and that is a Brilliance ink. Zoop. A pigment-based ink. Almost all your metallics are pigment-based ink. So I'm going to take her and I'm going to put some of my silver. Probably should have used a different color, being that the metal is silver and the ink is silver. I can't tell if I got it all the way around, so okay, we're just going to go with it. Right. Worst case that happens, we re-ink her, because why? We're only using paper. I'm going to grab my Big Shot machine, bring it right on up. Grab my multi-purpose platform, whether it be the small one or the extended platform, my Do Not Cut plate, my Lavish Ballroom Couture Creations cut and foil, my black paper, and I'm going to send her on through. And let's see what we get. How pretty is she? Nice, right? Done with just a dewdrop size of Brilliance ink. Most of you have some of this already in your stash. Most of you have mementos or dye-based inks already in your stash. You're using what you already own and adding a new element to it, adding a new tool to it. And these really are tools, because they're meant to last you the lifetime. You're meant to keep it forever. It's not what's called a consumable. This will eventually need to be re-inked, and you'll have to buy the re-inker and re-ink it. This is a tool. This is something that you keep forever and ever and can use again and again and again to make beautiful things. Right? So now we've done her in just straight black and got that lovely debossed. We've inked her and die cut her to give you a completely different look. We've done her in plain white with the deboss. We have done her in white with just the ink. We've colored her a little bit to add a little more pizzazz. Which one do you like? But isn't it wonderful that you don't have to choose, because you can do them all, and then you can take them and add more to it. If you want to add some glitter or some bling, you have opportunity to now take it to the next level if that's what you want to do, because right now all we've used is inks that you already have, paper that you already have, your die cutting machine that you already have, and a cut and foil that is actually cut and foil and ink and emboss and deboss, and it's so much more, so much more. So I wanted to start with that so that those of you who don't have a Go Press and Foil machine can see that these are for you as well. And the prices, they're wonderful. They really did a beautiful job on the pricing for these. I'm really, really happy. And again, Scrapbooking Made Simple is where they're at exclusively. So I'm going to take these girls and I'm going to put them off kind of to the side. And now we are going to play with a Go Press and Foil machine, and I'm going to bring that over here. Now I want you to remember what I said. You'll remember what I said. It's a fabulous machine. I need to turn it off. It's a fabulous machine. It does what it says it's going to do. The difference is your die cutting machine, your big shot machine, or your big kick machine is different than mine, not because it was manufactured differently, but based off of use. Based off of use. The older your machine is and the more you've used it, they call it getting loose. And so it may require more shims than a machine that's taken out of the box fresh today. Woohoo! Who doesn't want a fresh machine? So it just depends. This is not the variable that changes. It's your die cutting machine. So give this an hour of your time to play with it if you've never played with it. And I promise you, there'll be a moment where it just clicks. You've got the shim right, it's perfect, you peel it, and it's beautiful. So we're going to start with, I think I'm gonna do the basket. We're gonna start with the basket. And I am going to cut and foil, and it is going to be a one pass through my die cutting machine. To make this work though, and the only way to make it work, you need a conversion plate, a Couture Creations conversion plate. Look at how thick it is. This is beefy. It is in sharp contrast to the Simply Refined metal shim. Look at mine. It's dented. It bends. This, I'm going to show you a little bit later what to do with this, but it is not the same. They may look the same, but look at the thickness compared to mine. One, the Simply Refined, it's made to go with the Go Press and Foil. That's all it was made to go with. But it moves, it's thin. The Couture Creation conversion plate is heavy, beefy. It's not magnetic, but it's heavy and beefy. And when I use my cut and foils, I need to have that conversion plate. Now, the Go Press and Foil, this little piece slides in and out. And this is what you run through your big shot machine or your platinum machine, whichever. You need to have a machine that's going to let you do a thick die. So a platinum, a big shot, a big kick, a vagabond, a pro, a plus, not a grand caliber. That ain't going to work. A Cuttlebug will let you do this. And when it's in, it's in, and when it's out, it's out. So when it's in, it's heating, and when it's out, it's cooling. But you have to turn it on. Now, I plugged mine in, and you can see it's got the red light. I need to press the button, and that light needs to be blinking. Plugging it in just turns that light on. It does not turn the heating element on. I have to press the button for that heating element to start, because for all intents and purposes, this is a hot plate. It's a hot plate. And we're going to be using this to make beautiful cut and foil embellishments. Now, when you open it up, it does get warm. There's no question about it. And this is a non-stick surface. So if I took foil and I put it down, it's not going to melt on here. The foil's not going to melt. I mean, this is getting pretty warm, and that foil's not going to melt. You don't have to worry about that. But if I take it out and I let it sit out, it's now instantly starting to cool. I need to keep it going. I need to keep it as warm as it can be. See, it says it's ready because it's getting warm. I need to keep it as ready as it's going to be. I need to keep it constantly being hot. So every time I take it out and I roll it through my big shot machine, I'm going to instantly put it right back in, and you'll see me do that. Now, to use a cut and foil, you have to use the conversion plate, and that's the very first thing we're going to put down. Very first thing we're going to put down. That heat is going to transfer from your heating element through your metal. Got to put that down first. Then we're going to take our die, ridges up, and we're going to put that down. Now, we're going to take our paper and our foil, and we're going to pretend that this is a card that I just gave you. And you want to do the reveal. You want to see what it looks like underneath. Well, do you want to see this beautiful shiny side, this amazing bright iridescent side when you peel that off? Or do you want to see the more dull side? The dull side is the back side. That's not what we're looking for. We're looking for you to take this off. I hand this to you and I say, okay, do the reveal, and you peel it off and you see this magnificent iridescence. The shiny side, the happy side, the side you want to see on your card or your embellishment is the side that has to be facing you, which is the side that has to be facing down against my plate. Now, I know my machine. I've practiced with it, and I know that I need a single shim of 100-pound paper. If you're using a Cuttlebug, you may not need this at all. If you're using an express machine, you may not need this at all. This is where playing with your die cutting machine is going to tell you what you need. And I write on the top. I'm going to put that right over the top of it, and then I'm going to let it heat. Now, it says it's green and it's good to go. I'm not so sure I trust that because I've had it open. I think it's going to take another 30 seconds or so to heat all the way through, and it's very possible that this could turn back to red and start blinking again. Green means good, but you know, it's always better to make sure that it sits there and, oh, see, told you it would go red. I knew better because it's trying to heat through all of the paper that I just added and the foil plate, so it takes it a second to say, ooh, there's something new here that I have to heat up. I'm not quite hot enough. And it turns to red. Now it turned to green. It didn't take long to reheat all the way through because I've been keeping this, this inside the heating element the whole time. I am going to now take it out, and I'm going to bring over my Big Shot machine. I don't need anything else but this platform. I don't need my multi-purpose platform. I don't need any other cutting plates. I don't need anything except to roll this through on a nice slow roll. So last time I sang Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, I sang Row 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 Your Boat. This time I'm gonna sing for a special request, You are my sunshine, my only sunshine. You make me happy when skies are gray. Okay, so it went through. Now I'm going to take it back. You know you'll never know, dear, how much I love you. Please don't take my sunshine away. Now, why am I singing? Because we're not just die cutting, we're transferring the foil by heat. And when we die cut and we're not transferring anything, man, we're whipping and snapping back and forth. We're whipping, rotating, snapping back. But this time we have to let the machine do the work. We need to let that heat transfer that foil. So I sing a little happy tune, and like I said in the last YouTube, it was row, row, row your boat and twinkle little star and maybe even itsy bitsy spider. Put that over there, and I'm gonna pop this bad boy up, and then I'm gonna instantly put this right back in. See, it says it's not hot yet, it's blinking red, and I want this to continue to heat up. So I'm just gonna put it off to the side. That way the next time I wanna use it, it's almost ready to go. Now I've got my die. You can see the little cut lines. Can you see the cut lines? The little pieces that are going to come out. I'm going to pop this on out. And I can push my little pieces out if I want. How about we pull the top off first? So this is what it looks like if I haven't pulled the foil off to expose underneath. And that's pretty. You could do it just like that and leave it just like that. But let's get this liner off. There we go. Okay, reveal time. And it has done a beautiful job foiling. Now, all I have to do is pop out the little pieces. Now you could leave the little pieces in if you wanted. So you can see the little flowers. Pop this guy out too. So you can see I've popped these out. And I still have some more to go here, but you could leave them in if you really wanted to. It's up to you. Pop, pop, pop. You need that metal conversion plate to make it work. But what about this piece? I'm going to get to that. I'm going to put that aside and I'm going to get to that. Put it where I can find it and I'm going to get to it there. I'm going to put it right there so I can find it. So now I have done a beautiful cut and foil. Can you see that iridescence? Pretty amazing, right? What I want to show you though is that you can see from previous it's cut into the top plate of my Go Press and Foil. And this is my original Go Press and Foil. And I've now got those cuts in it from earlier YouTubes and you can see that. Well, it doesn't harm anything. It doesn't hurt anything. But just in case you don't like that, Couture Creations came out with a new lid. And this one's gridded. So it makes lining things up a little bit easier. This lid here pops right off the top. You can pull this right off the top and pop this one right in place. It's up to you if you want to have one lid that has the cut marks into it and one lid, use the gridded lid for when you're doing lining up cards and things like that. Do you need to have this? No. Is it nice to have this? Yes. But it's just like the small multi-purpose platform. You already have a platform that works. This will work just fine as is for both. And this runs $20 and then it'll be on sale for 20% off. But I'd rather see you get some beautiful plates to use in it than maybe necessarily getting a new lid. It is nice to have both because then you always have, it's kind of like a do not cut plate. You always have one lid that's beautifully clean and easy to see and lines everything up. And then you would always use this one for when you're going to use your cut and foils. Now, let's see. I think I'm going to take this one too. So I've got this beautiful little floral and I'm going to lay that in there. And this time I'm going to use, I love this color. Love this color of foil. Have no clue what it is, but I love it. Cut myself off a piece of foil. And remember, they give you 15 feet of foil. 15 feet for $2.80. Can you use a thermo web foil? No, you can't. You can't use a foil for the minks or anything like that. You need to use the foil for what the project that you're working on. Let's take another piece of paper. And remember, you want to see it, right? If you were going to pull this off, close that up, pull this off to expose the prettiness, you would want to see that beautiful blue. You wouldn't want to see that silver. That's not what we're looking for. If you do happen to do it this way, you're going to foil your plate. You're going to end up foiling this. It's okay. It doesn't hurt it at all. I've got many that are foiled. While I was learning, it happened. It's okay. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to put this right against my beautiful little floral piece. And I'm going to take my shim, and you can see it's kind of cut into it. That's okay. This is just paper. If it stops working, because every time you run it through your die cutting machine, it compresses down just a little bit. I mean, 1/100 of an inch or a millimeter, it compresses. So eventually it might be too compressed and it might not make the same transfer. Just cut yourself another half sheet, 100-pound cardstock or whatever's working for you. This paper shim is not meant to last a lifetime. Now I'm going to give it a second. because I don't think it's quite hot enough. Could be wrong. Oh, see, went to red. Now I'm gonna let it heat up a little bit. Shouldn't take too long because every time I use it, I put it right back in my heating element to keep it hot. And if I were to, look at it, it's already green. And if I were to walk away from this, this has a self timer in it. It will turn itself off, so you don't have to worry about that. I'm gonna put it over here. I'm gonna move this over here. And I'm gonna roll it through. The itsy bitsy spider went up the water spout. Down came the rain and washed the spider out. Out came the sun and dried up all the rain. And the itsy bitsy spider went up the spout again. Okay, I'm just singing to slow my roll. You can sing whatever song makes your heart happy as long as it makes you slow your roll. Okay, let's see what I've got. See, it's cutting into it. Eventually I'm going to have to replace it, but right now I'm good. Now this is hot. Hot, hot, hot. Might be too hot to pick up. Included with your Go Press and Foil are these pretty unique little tweezers. They're not meant to pick up like that. They're meant for closing, and look at it, picks it up. And then when you want to drop it, you open them. So to pick up something hot off of your Go Press and Foil or put something down that's warm, you close your tweezers, pick it up, open your tweezers, put it down. They're not meant for doing this, they're meant for doing this. Pretty unique, right? Oh, I need to put this back in my heating element, because I want it to continue to be getting hot. So there it goes. Turn back to red because I just put it back in. It's red blinking. And let's see what we've got. So here's my die. And I'm going to take the liner piece off. Isn't that beautiful? I love this color. It makes my heart happy. And I still have this piece. Now I could certainly take this piece and use it by just taping it down onto something, but we're going to do something else with it. So I'm going to move that over there. Now let's say we try something on the black paper. How about we can do the same one because it's in there in the black paper. So I'm going to bring my machine over. Let's pick a different color. Let's go with the pink. Cut myself off a piece. Remember 15 feet, $2.80. You can't go wrong. When you pull this off, if I was letting you do the reveal, what would you want to see when you pull it off? Do you want to see that fabulous pink, or do you want to see the yucky gray? No, you want to see the fabulous pink. Hello. So that is what's going to go down against my die. And then I need 100-pound shim. Now mine's getting cut into, so eventually I know I'm going to have to replace my piece of paper, but I'm okay with that. I'm going to close it up and I'm going to let it think. So I've got down here the conversion plate. Let's see, it's right here. Oh, I should put these back where they belong. 1, 2. I have got the conversion plate. Thick, heavy, does not bend. Completely different than a metal shim. Conversion plate is needed if you're using the Go Press and Foil with any of the Couture Creations cut and foil plates. Gotta have it. Won't work without it. Okay, there we go. So let's take my Big Shot machine, pull it out, and A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, and Z. Now I know my ABCs. Next time, won't you sing with me? When we were doing it in the make and take for last week, it was funny because we had several nurses who say that that they have to, they're taught to wash their happy birthday, or people in the health industry or in the restaurant industry, and they're supposed to sing happy birthday twice to wash their hands. So this was nothing for them. Okay, I'm going to take that and put that aside. I've got this right back in. Let's put this aside. And let's see what we've got. So it has cut and it has foiled. And it's beautiful. I don't know which one you'd like better. You like it on the white, you like it on the back, you can do it on patterned paper, you have options. You can do whatever it is you want. Because they cut and they foil at the exact same time. And if you don't have a Go Press and Foil, they cut and ink at the exact same time and deboss. And you can use them. If you have the die cutting machine and the Go Press and Foil, well, by George, you've got lots and lots of options. So I wanted to take these. I've got that in there, right? All the way? Yes, all the way. I wanted to take, and I'm still going to use this. I'm not going to get rid of that. I wanted to take these, finish popping out my little pieces. And I can take both of these and now add some ink to them, because that foil is going to act as a resist. So let's see. I know I have got a brown little finger dauber here somewhere. I guess I'm going to go with this one. So I'm going to try and do a very light brown kind of for my basket. And the dauber just gives you a lovely soft look. So just a little bit of brown. It doesn't get rid of the foil. The foil acts as a resist, so you can still see that magnificent foil. Then I think I'm going to take a little bit of my green, and where I think I see leaves, I'm just going to do a little bit of green. A little bit of green. Where I see some leaves. Can you see my basket starting to come alive? See, look at that. It didn't lose the foil at all. The foil is resisting the ink. Now I'm going to grab some of my red. And we'll do a little bit of red. And just for good measure, I'm going to throw in a little bit of yellow because I like yellow. Just to give some shading and some shadow and some definition. Yellow just adds the right touch. And poof! Now it's foiled and colored. So let's see, I know I've got one that's, here it is, just foiled, which is lovely. But here it is, foiled and colored. Now that's really lovely. Oh my goodness gracious, I think it's so pretty. And all I used was some dye-based ink. And my finger daubers. These are simply refined. These are simply refined finger daubers. So you get a case of them, 40 in a case for $23.99, which is like the lowest price I think, on the market, or you can get 20 individuals without the case for $9.99, and I know that's the lowest price. So do you like it plain or do you like it colored? But you can see that the foil, it did not lose its foil, its iridescence, right? Pretty cool. So here I could just take, let's take some of the green and maybe where the stems are, just add a little bit of green. Where the little stems are, just add a little bit of green to it. Where the leaves are, a little bit of green. And then let's come back with my yellow, because I like yellow. And finish it off with some yellow. I still have that beautiful royal bluey purple color, but I'm kind of softening the white so it's not so stark. And it looks more like a finished embellishment that you bought, not made. How pretty is that? Just a little extra ink. I don't know if I have this one. I have this one over here. It's not the same, but it's close. But you get the idea. White versus colored. You still have the beautiful foil look. Here I have it in pink. Still have the beautiful foil look. But you've taken it to the next step by coloring on top of it with your dye-based inks. And you don't lose the foil. If I was to use a Brilliance ink, what would happen? Okay, let's find one we don't really care about. It's going to cover the foil because Brilliance is a pigment-based ink. It sits on top. It doesn't absorb in. Dye-based ink absorbs in, lets you blend a little bit, and the foil acts as a resist. I have cakes. Here are my cakes. So here I've got this beautiful cake. And what if I took a little bit of my, what if I took just a little bit of my Ladybug red? And I just did where the roses are. Just to zhuzh it up just a little bit. Just a little bit of zhuzhing. But if you want to, you can finish it out. I know, I'm predictable. Don't know how many people have a yellow and red cake, but you can absolutely finish it on out. Oh, I could have done those leaves in green. And just finish inking. And turn down that white just a little bit. Somewhere I had the cake in, oh, in silver. So it's up to you. Do you prefer it in white? Do you prefer it in color? You have options. Now, super quick, I want to talk to you about the metal shim, because the metal shim is different than the conversion plate. Remember, this bends. It's a simply refined metal shim. Is it meant to be used with a die cutting machine? No. And see, look at how tattered mine is. It's okay. Mine is tattered. It's meant to be used with your Go Press and foil. I manufactured it to do a very specific thing, which is shown in YouTube number 211. But it will do it does a couple different things. So I want to show you what we're able to accomplish. It requires you having the metal shim, and I think we sell it for $8.99, and a squishy. This is part of a Knock Knock and Squishy from Sizzix. It's really not called a squishy. They get mad at me for that. It's actually a silicone texture pad or a silicone pad. I call it a squishy because, well, frankly, it squishes. You need this. It retails for $6.99. We only sell it as a pair with the knock because you use it when you're cutting dies and you want to use the embossing feature on the die. So for the two of them, it's like $13.98, and then they'll be on sale for 20% off. And if you do any kind of embossing with your dies, you need them both anyway. But for this, you just need the squishy. Now, I'm going to take my negative. Remember, I had this piece left, right? I had this piece left. And I'm going to grab a piece of paper. And same thing, if I pulled this liner off, what would I want to see? I would want to see that beautiful, beautiful, beautiful iridescence, right? So I'm going to take and put turn it over and put it right onto my shim, not conversion plate. And then I need my squishy to go on top of that. Then it depends. I can tell you that my machine really takes a double shim, 100-pound piece of paper folded in half, and a single shim. And I'm gonna put those right on top. So I've got a 100-pound piece of paper folded in half, a 100-pound double shim, and a 100-pound single shim. And I'm going to put that right on top. And then I'm going to close this up and I'm going to let it get hot. Now it says green, but I just put a ton of paper in there. I know it's not ready. I need to give this the chance to heat all the way through. And that metal shim at the bottom is conducting that heat. And that squishy pad is going to force the compression, which is hopefully, with any luck, going to transfer the image onto my paper. See, it says red now, and I believe it. I believe that it's going to take a little, a minute or, well, not a minute or two, but it will take a few seconds for it to go green again. And I'm prepared to wait because what I want is zero waste. Oh, there it goes, it's green. I don't want to throw this piece away. I don't want to just tape it down. I could just tape it down, but what if I wanted to decorate an envelope with the negative? What if I put an envelope in here instead of a piece of paper with that negative? So I'm sending a card and it now coordinates the envelope and the card. I'm gonna give it, there we go. Give it a roll and remember A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P. And if you're doing it right, your squishy's gonna come out the back end. I can just start to see my squishy as it's expanding, as it's compressing down, it's gonna come out the back end. Then I'm gonna roll back, which we normally don't do for a squishy, but we're doing it for this. And then when I'm all done, if we did it right, and if I have the pressure right, oh, Stacy, I should have started with the other end first. If I have the pressure right, it should have transferred. It's like a big drum roll. Okay, so I'm gonna put this right back in. I wanna put it right back in because I want it to continue to stay hot. All right, there it is. Let's take off our liner. Zero waste. It's gone. How fabulous is that? Transferred right onto my paper. So now, do you like this? Do you like this? Do you like this? Do you want to put your negative on black paper? Do you want to put it on your envelope? What do you want to do? You have options. If you use the right tools for what you're doing, you have options. I'm gonna try to do the pink one on a black piece of paper and we'll see what we get. Black can be a little more challenging, but we're up to the challenge. So you have got here the Simply Refined shim, not the Couture Creations conversion plate. The shim is used when you want to transfer negative, this is the negative, onto another piece of paper. And I'm going to put that flat down right against it. Got a little extra piece of, put that down right against it. My squishy. And I know that my machine takes 100-pound shim, double shim. So I just took a piece of paper and folded it in half. And it takes a single shim. Your machine may only take a double shim. Your machine may only take a single shim. Your machine might not take any shims. You have to roll it through your die cutting machine to see what's going to work best for you. Now it says it's good. I don't know that I believe it's good. I think it needs a little more time. So we're gonna let it sit for a second. What do you think? Should we give it a whirl? Worst case is, oh, no, there it goes. There it goes. Should I color something for you? I could show you some of the other pretty things I was foiling before we started because I got crazy. Is that like a chrysanthemum? Look at those. Aren't those beautiful? I foiled those before I started. Lovely, aren't they? I cut and foiled and inked. Okay, it says we're good now. Let's give it a whirl. Ready? I'm gonna turn it this way. It's always easier if you have the handle go through first. Ready? Bitsy bitsy spider went up the water spout. Or maybe I should sing something Disney because I'm a huge Disney fan. My dream would have been to, I don't know if I would have preferred to have been a Disney princess or an evil queen, the evil queen. I don't know. I like both of them so much. So, what can I sing? Chim chimney, chim chimney, chim chim chiree. When you're with a sweep, you're in glad company. Nowhere is there a more happier crew than them what sings chim chim chiree, chim chiroo. There. Love Mary Poppins too. Okay, let's see what we got. Open. There it is. I'm going to put this right back in. And now let's peel and see what we got. So it's a surprise for both of us. That's the sound of happiness. Zero waste. Amazing, right? You could just do this on paper. You could save all of your negatives and now do this on a corner here, put a mat there, put a picture there, and add it to your scrapbooking. Easy peasy. But you have to have the right tools, and there is a world of difference between a conversion plate that you use when you're cutting and foiling versus my shim that you use when you are transferring. Transfer, cut and foil. Let's see if I can find one that's got more color to it. Cut and foil, cut and foil. Transfer, cut and foil. Transfer, shim, cut and foil, conversion plate. All right, it has been a long YouTube. I'm going to show you samples now. I hope that you learned something new and that the Go Press and Foil, look at zero waste. What do you ever get that gives you zero waste? Love it. So I'm going to show you samples now and we're going to go through some of them. Here we have got the beautiful little rose. and the sample to go with it. Look at all that lovely foil. So maybe it goes that way. No, I don't know. Your choice. Lovely foil. Then we have, I'm gonna say, is it the chrysanthemum? It's a hydrangea. Okay, I wasn't sure. So the hydrangea, which I showed you. Haha. That one's the hydrangea. And that one's the hydrangea. But look at it as a card sample. Is that beautiful? Here, we cut it out of green paper. Here, we cut it with the foil, but didn't take the liner off. Here, we cut it and pulled the liner and then layered the three. Is that gorgeous? This is the hydrangea. Then we have the carriage. It's $8.99, less 20%, right? The price is awesome. Here we have the carriage. So we cut it and used the back as a shadow and then foiled the front. Cute, right? Speaking of Disney princess. And here we have the carriage in a suspended card. So the carriage is actually suspended. And we popped it so it can go, it goes either way. Love, love, love. So if it dangles on both sides. Then we have the basket that I was playing with today. So $10.99 for the basket. And you saw how much you can do with it. There's one of the cards. Here's one of the cards. Here's one of the cards. And then, of course, the sample that we did, that we were doing for the make and take. Really pretty, huh? And then we have, oh, what are they calling this? Field of Daisies. $4.49. Field of Daisies. And this time we added it to one of my flip sides with the marbling. Which actually, no, this way. No, this way. Yes, I have to think about it. It's backwards to me. Look at how pretty that is, and make little gatherings of that. It's just beautiful. And then we have a two-piece set that has foliage on it, and they're calling this Young Stem Set. Okay. Here's one of our cards. And look at how beautiful is this. Is this not gorgeous? Oh my gosh, I love, love, love it. Well, I do. I didn't. It's beautiful and simple. And that foiling just adds a little bit of pizzazz to it. Then we have the other one that we were using today, which is Sweeping Botanicals Set. And again, it comes in two, so you get two pieces. They're different, but they coordinate. $12.49, less 20%. How pretty is that? Done in the rose golds. And then we have our plaque. So we cut some of the other set just out of green paper. That was the other botanical, which is somewhere. It's the other botanical. But we cut that one out of green and then did the bigger ones. So cute, right? Made a little plaque. Then we have the cake. We lost a pearl on the way here. We're pearlless. But look at the cake on that. Is that beautiful? And then we have all in the pinks. Is that not just a yummy card? And this is paper from Tonic Studios, part of their Craft Perfect line. And blooms by Kaisercraft. Pretty card. And then, oh, here's the one that we used. They used this little one to make those little in that. So the green ones here, we just die cut out a green paper from this one. So botanical set. And happy birthday. Okay, and last but not least, we have our beautiful ball gown. And here she is in pink foil with just a simple happy birthday. And here she is with a background that I had made in a previous YouTube with the gel press and embossing folder and the inks from Color Philosophy from Prima. She's lovely, isn't she? And she's inked, she's not foiled. And here we have a foil with my square must-haves. And last but not least, we have such an elegant card. Just beautiful. Remember, if you don't have a Go Press and foil, you can use your inks. And if you use the metallic inks, you'll get a nice metallic finish. Not quite like the foil, but save up for your Go Press and foil. Okay, I'm going to tilt on up. Ooh. I'm going to straighten on out, tilt on up, and I am going to zoom on back. Okay, you guys, it's me, Stacy, Scrapbooking Made Simple. We did a lot today. I hope you learned something new. I hope that it sparked some creativity. I hope you see how useful all of these things are, and that being able to take one die, one cut and foil, and ink it, cut it, foil it, use the negative so that you have no waste, how beneficial it is, and ultimately how economical it can be, being that you have no waste and that you're using inks and paper that you already own. So where do you find all of this great product? Well, the cut and foil by Couture Creations, the Lavish Ballroom, is exclusively at Scrapbooking Made Simple. That's my Blake Shelton. So you'll go to scrapbookingmadesimple.com, look under the YouTube Yummies, and you'll see lots and lots of the wonderful product that we used here today in that YouTube Yummies sale. I believe it's all at 20% off. So have a good time. It's been great. I will see you next week, which will be my last YouTube for a while, because then the Shop That Did Not Hop starts, and I don't YouTube during that time frame. So I'll be a few weeks without a YouTube, but I will see you next week for Simply Refined. Bye everybody, scrapbookingmadesimple.com. Good night.